Welcome to Home Cooking with Holly. Today we're going to make the epitome of comfort food. Awesome mac and cheese, baked in the oven, sizzling golden layer of cheese on the top, homemade croutons, and that ooey gooey goodness on the inside. I hope you'll join me. We've got our cheese set up. I have 16 ounces, these are two 8-ounce blocks of Colby Jack cheese and one 8-ounce block of mild cheddar. Now you can use any cheese you'd like. If you want to make it a little spicier, you could use pepper jack instead of the Colby Jack. You could use Parmesan, you could use sharp cheddar, use whatever cheeses you like. You could even use mozzarella. This is the combination that I have found is the best for us. And here's what we're going to do with our cheese. The cheddar, we're going to immediately cut in half. So I have 4 ounces that I'm going to shred and 4 ounces that I'm going to cut. I'm just going to make some slices down the end. And once I get to the end, beware of your fingers. I'm just going to stack those up and cut them into little cubes. This is all going to melt. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I'll leave that off to the side. And then I'm going to do the same thing with both blocks of the Colby Jack. I'm going to just slice them and then cube them. The only part we aren't doing that with is the reserved 4 ounces or so of cheddar, because we're going to shred that and it will get sprinkled on top of our mac and cheese. Now that we've cubed up our cheese, we're just going to kind of put those cubes into a 9 by 13 pan that I've sprayed with some cooking spray. You can also rub it with some butter if you'd prefer to do that. Just going to kind of separate them a bit. We want to line the entire bottom of this pan with cheese. And we're going to be mixing in the cheddar with the Colby Jack, so don't worry about when you grab which one, just throw them all in there. Spread the cheese out. And now we're going to boil some water and cook 2 cups of elbow pasta. To a pot of boiling water, I have added plenty of salt. Pasta water really should be salty like the sea, it's true. And I've also added in 2 cups of elbow noodles. You can use a different noodle if you'd like. Just make sure it's one of the smaller cuts of noodle. Like a small shell would work as well. The remaining cheddar I'm going to shred. You can buy pre-shredded cheese, but remember it has that cellulose coating on it that keeps the cheese from sticking together. It's fine in a pinch, but I find that if you shred it yourself, it tastes so much better, and it also melts to a creamier consistency. So we're just going to shred it ourselves here. Some people like to hold the grater to the side and do it that way and catch the cheese in it. Whatever works for you, it's completely fine. I'll also be showing you in a future video different ways of shredding cheese, including special attachments you can use on a KitchenAid mixer. Be very careful of your fingernails and your fingers as you get to the end. You can definitely scrape off skin or a little chunk of fingernail. I have done both. Luckily not today. Okay. Make sure we get all that delicious cheddar cheese. And we're going to let this sit off to the side until we're ready for it. That's our 4 ounces of shredded mild cheddar. Now I'm going to take this bowl and start working on the filling and binding for our mac and cheese. Mac and cheese that you bake in the oven does need something to bind it together. Some people use a roux with milk or flour. I'm actually going to use an egg to help bind, and also flour, cream, and half. Now we want to cook that pasta until it is just shy of al dente. Usually takes around 7 minutes to become al dente, so we're going to pull it at about 5 minutes. And al dente means to the tooth. It just means the pasta has a little bite, but still a firmness to it, which is perfect. But this pasta is also going to continue to cook in the oven, so we don't need it to be fully al dente. Now we're going to start making the sauce. Now I've cracked 1 large egg, and to that egg, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of flour. This is just a half teaspoon, so I'm going to add 4. Okay. Then I'm going to add half a teaspoon of kosher salt. Half a teaspoon of black pepper, and half a teaspoon of dry mustard powder, or ground mustard. This gives it such a flavorful kick. Now, if you'd like a little heat in this, you could add 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. My husband and I do not like spicy food. My grown-up sons do, so they love it with the cayenne pepper in there, but I generally leave it out. And now I'm going to add 1 cup each of half and heavy cream. So there's the half and half. And here comes the heavy cream. And now I'm just going to whisk this together. We're going to break that egg up, incorporate all those flavors. We're not done yet. There's still more to add. I'm also keeping an eye on my pasta and giving it a stir every once in a while till our time is up. All right, next I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of sour cream. And that's 4 tablespoons of sour cream. I'm gonna give it another little whisk. Tilt it to the side. I found it does help a bit when you're whisking. Now I'm going to actually add grated onion. I just need about half of this onion. So I'll set that aside. Give this a peel. Always good to have a garbage bowl. I didn't grab one this time because this is really the only thing I needed it for. But if you're making a meal with lots of parts, it's good to have a garbage bowl nearby. That way you're not going back and forth to the trash can. We're going to grate our onion into the bowl. Make sure that you watch your fingers here while you're doing that. And we're gonna also wipe it all off of the back of the grater. It's gonna accumulate there. We have drained our pasta, and now we're going to add it on top of the cheese that we've cubed up. It's gonna start melting that cheese. Now I'm gonna take our cream mixture and just pour that right over the top. Make sure you scrape out all that goodness. We're going to make sure that we mix this up well, and then just spread it out into the pan. Our oven's almost preheated to 350. We're going to add our shredded cheddar cheese and just sprinkle that all over the top. We are going to pop this into our oven, which is set at 350 degrees, and bake it for 35 minutes. And now we're going to make our own croutons to go on top. To make our croutons, you want a loaf of French bread or a French baguette. We're not going to use this knife this time because when we're cutting bread, it's better to use a knife that has a serrated edge. I'm going to turn the bread onto its side. It makes it easier to cut through. And I'm just going to let the knife glide through and cut slices. I'm only using half of this loaf, so the other half we can save and use for something else. We could save it to do this again, You could even freeze it for a short time, or we could use it to make our own garlic bread. After I've made my slices, I'm going to cut them into cubes. It's okay if they're a little large, I just don't want them to be huge. The thought is bite size. Now I have a large skillet and I have melted about 4 tablespoons of butter. It's nice and foamy. And you can use 3 to 4 tablespoons. I'm going to drop in my bread cubes. We're just going to toss those around in that butter and let them start to crisp up. Make sure you get them all tossed around. You can always add a little more butter if you'd like. This just takes a few minutes, just until the bread cubes start to brown. But make sure you move them frequently. We don't want the bottoms of them to burn in that butter. And it's as simple as that. Now we have croutons, homemade croutons, to add to the top of our macaroni and cheese. Now, you can also make these for other meals or add to salads or anything you'd like. You can even flavor them up more. You could add salt, you could add pepper, any other herbs that you'd like, Parmesan cheese. These are actually very versatile, but I do them pretty simply for the awesome mac and cheese. It's been in there for 35 minutes. Look at how bubbly that cheese is. It's sizzling. It looks delicious. Now I put the croutons on the top and I'm going to pop it back into the oven for about 8 minutes. And it's done. Smells divine, and we're going to serve it up now and give it a taste. And it's got a beautiful crust on the edge, as you can see right there. Ooh, can't wait to dive into this. Okay, let's give it a taste. Ooh, it smells so cheesy and good. The crouton is crispy. That top cheesy crust is delicious. And the inside is gooey and bubbly, just like I like it. Let me know if you tried this recipe. I'd love to know in the comments if you use different cheeses, if you made it spicy with pepper jack cheese or use the cayenne pepper. Please like and subscribe for more recipes and cooking tips.